All right, so I'm going to continue with Strange New Worlds Season 2. Last week we had the incredible Lower Decks crossover, which lived up to my admittedly very high expectations, but it exceeded them actually. It was fantastic. But that means that because that episode was fun and crazy, this episode is going to be very serious. I haven't watched any of the promotional material. I've been advised to stick away from promotional material going forward, so I've decided to. I haven't watched like the preview clip or the like mini trailer for this episode, so I'm going completely blind. I have no idea what this episode's about, but I'm assuming it's going to be a darker episode with more serious tones, because episode 5 was fun, 6 was serious, 7 was fun. Surely it's going to be serious, and I know episode 9 is the musical, so I think we're going to have to get pretty gritty in this episode. Maybe not, maybe they'll completely subvert my expectations. This will be another wacky episode too, but I don't think so. But yeah, since I have no expectations, I don't have much to ramble on about at the beginning. So let's just get into it.
Captain's log, stardate 1875.4.
That's a weird looking... What the hell? That is a weird ass looking ship. The Kelsey May. That thing's... I don't know how I feel about that one. It doesn't have like the, the rounded saucer of a usual Federation ship, so that's weird.
Our esteemed guest is a Klingon. A former general who defected to our side.
Okay. Former Klingon general is an ambassador to the Federation. Yeah, well, we know... Oh, the boat swings whistle. We know that M'Benga, Ortegas, and Chapel all served in the war, and they have a little bit of trauma from it, at least.
Captain Christopher Pike, if you wouldn't mind, I've heard so many great things about the Federation flagship. Could I trouble you for a brief tour of the ship?
This guy isn't acting like a Klingon. Certainly this era of Klingons. He's very sort of personable. I guess he's got to be if he's an ambassador. He can't be a non-human sort of racist.
It's a long con to gain access to Federation secrets.
Just because he's Klingon.
Trust me, I know Klingons. This guy with the peace treaties, that's not Klingon.
Speaking of racist, Ortega's here. Yeah, I know, because she has a lot of bad associations with the Klingons from the war. I get that, but you can't just assume they're all the same. You got to be at least willing to accept peace, and they are at peace right now, or they're at a ceasefire at least.
There's a reason other Klingons call him the Butcher of Jagal.
Captain on the bridge?
Yikes. Oh, that's so awful. Oh, that's so awful. So he's known as the Butcher of Jagal. He seems way too nice to be a butcher. I know the Moon of Jagal, that's what M'Benga was talking about that in the first episode of this season, before he took the green goo and hulked out.
As you were.
No, don't be giving her shit. Well, I mean, yeah, she shouldn't have fucking... A horse should have said something about, she was standing right in front of him, but whatever.
I must admit, it has ignited a curiosity in me, a desire to experience more of your culture.
They are a warmongering race, limited by ideology.
Wow. He's talking down his own culture. Interesting. So he's like totally turned his back on his culture. That's why he's so different from other Klingons that we've seen. So then how is he, how could he be an ambassador and represent the Klingon people if he doesn't even like Klingon people?
I think perhaps we should let this cool a bit.
We are still working out the coding. This is entirely my fault.
A Raktajino. That's, I mean, I know the Raktaginos were introduced to DS9, right? So they wouldn't have... We didn't see them in TOS, but I mean, obviously they existed then. But, yeah, I mean, we didn't see a lot of peaceful missions with the Klingons in that era, so we wouldn't have anyway. Oh. And M'Benga is not happy about the sight of this, I guess he's met him before, surely. On Jagal. The Butcher of Jagal. Oh shit, he's having a freaking panic attack. Damn. Oh shit, fuck me, it's way more intense than I thought it was going to be. Come on, M'Benga, pull through. You're right. Damn. I get that this is probably going to be an M'Benga focused episode, I'm assuming, which is good because I like M'Benga a lot, and Chapel too, and Ortegas. Those who served in the Klingon War. It begs the question who was, I guess before, when they were serving the Klingon War, I guess that it would have been like Dr. Boyce and all them, the Cage crew lineup, you know, on the Enterprise during that time. Oh. Flashback time. That's a different looking shuttle too, a cool looking shuttle. So the question is, so where is the moon of Jagal? I guess probably on the neutral zone border.
Christine Chapel, welcome to Jagal. Everyone calls me Buck.
No way, Clint Howard. That's so fucking good that he's here. I'm sure most of you know that's Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother, who was in TOS, many other shows. He was also in Discovery, I think, most recently. But he was just a little kid in TOS, and I think it was the Corbomite maneuver he was in, right?
We must drink.
We call it Tent City. I think you see why. It's not home.
Damn.
But it'll do.
This is pretty freaking gritty for Star Trek. Literally on the front lines. Hey, he's got a Strangely Worlds tricorder. That's not correct for the era. Yeah, I was assuming they're keeping the Strangely Worlds aesthetic and shifting it back a few years, even though it should be Discovery, but yeah, I don't really care.
Let's prep him.
No regenerator.
Right. So what? We just morphine drip and let him die?
Coming transport.
Really? You're going to say that right in front of him, huh? That's not exactly a good bedside manner. So they're really fucked on resource. So that they must be, I guess. So I don't understand. What is this moon orbiting? Like, I guess maybe it's orbiting a key, a strategic planet. They're putting him in the transporter buffer to prevent him from bleeding out. So just they can just put him there on ice, basically. So just like M'Benga's daughter. That must be where he gets the idea from. And like Scotty in TNG and Relics.
Dr. M'Benga. Chris, do you have any more of that Delton parsley in your apothecary?
Delton parsley. Pike's whipping up a Delton specialty for Battelle, maybe? A deadly parsley in excessive amounts.
So we have direct orders. Klingon war veterans need to interact with Ra. We have to make them feel welcome here, and we will, but I don't want that to come at the personal expense of anyone on the crew.
I'm fine.
They have direct orders for the Klingon war veterans to interact with him. That's so fucked. How can they do that? Oh yeah, we want to stir up your PTSD. Why not just have them off duty for the trip? You're just escorting an ambassador. It's not a priority 1 mission, for goodness sake. A dinner with the senior staff. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go particularly well. So Ortegas will be there too. They're going to start throwing dishes at each other. Hopefully the ambassador doesn't say anything to piss off M'Benga. He doesn't take any more of that green stuff.
We got this. We got this.
Oh, fuck me, that was grim. Jeez. Oh, gosh. That was fucking... It's like something you'd see in freaking Law and Order, for goodness sake. What is this, the Dark Ages?
My God, what is this, the Dark Ages? Here.
Fully functional?
Fully functional.
Oof. Oh my God, she's manually pumping his heart. Ugh, that's horrible. Disgusting. This is what I knew this was going to happen after the Lower Decks episode. I knew we were going to have something, a total drastic tonal shift. They always do it. This is even more severe than I expected.
Everything all right?
No! The Butcher of Jagal is in there and everyone's acting like he's the frickin' Dalai Lama.
He's changed. And they haven't seen what he did, but apparently you have. Whatever it is he did that earned him that title.
Sometimes you pretend something long enough, it becomes the truth.
Isn't that what Pelia said to Bourne the last episode? You act like somebody else long enough till that person becomes you.
Pipe me jambalaya.
Hmm. Damn, that's some good looking jambalaya. I want to be invited to one of Pike's dinners, for goodness sake. He's always cooking fire looking food.
Is it true that all peace negotiations must include drinking blood wine in excess?
Peace is a destination.
Of course. That's the most fun part of it. Why would you? That's the only part you actually look forward to. The Spock certainly does after he's a dick. He's obsessed with blood wine after the first episode. Start hitting that Saurian brandy, but you're going to need it to get through the night, I think. Both of you. But Erica seems to be coming around a little bit.
Our captain needs us.
Why is it so hard to explain to people who weren't there?
Because it's hard for them to imagine the kind of stuff you've seen, what you went through. It's so intense. They can't possibly even imagine it. Fathom it.
How's your chest feeling? Like someone squeezed my heart with their fingers. Someone did.
Wow, this guy survived? He wasn't looking so good. But he pulled out. Proof that in Bangan Chapel are the best of the best in Starfleet. Hey, look, another Andorian. Now I'm thinking about Hemmer. Oh, Hemmer.
This General Dakra, he's ordering his men to kill on sight anyone that isn't a Klingon soldier after they torture them.
Damn, so that's Ambassador Ra. He's just ordering the slaughter of anyone who's not a Klingon. Okay, so that's how he got the Butcher of Jagal name. So he was a real bastard back then. What happened that made him so peaceful all of a sudden?
Protocol 12. It was discontinued. Starfleet won't make it anymore, but I heard you still have some.
Protocol 12. Oh, that's the green goo. They discontinued it, but he's cooking up his own solution in his lab. And he designed it.
And what the Federation did for me, it saved my life. Jagal changed me.
Jagal changed a lot of us.
Yeah. But somehow it changed you for the better. It didn't change anybody else for the better, I don't think. It ripped everybody else's psyche apart. How did you come up so clean the other side?
The final conflict.
And the massacre of Colony Athos.
And you both know my pain all too well. Those were difficult times.
Your pain. Yeah. Oh boy. Don't fucking careful here. You're gonna get the shit kicked out of you, Ambassador Ra.
War is never the ideal option.
Is it true?
Oh. They're drinking blood wine. They're all drinking blood wine. So is blood wine actually made of blood?
Remain Klingon. Remember that?
Ortegas is tipping over the edge. She's shouting their battle cry now.
All over the comms, and then boom, all your friends are dead.
Lieutenant Ortega, stand down.
Nope. Excuse them, for fuck's sake. Don't just sit there and let them go at it, because you know shit's about to break out. Just excuse them from the table, Pike.
I should she will find her own way to peace.
Your perspective, it bears a remarkable similarity to Enar existentialism.
Yes.
Oh, stop talking about Emmer. Referencing Emmer. Pike's like, but Pike can see that Beggar's about to rip the fucking chair arm off. There you go. He's telling him to leave, kindly. Oh boy. Nope. Nope.
The two of you are practicing full impact Mokbara. And I was wondering if we might arrange a session.
I'll check my schedule.
The ambassador wants to do martial arts with Mbanga. You don't know how good Mbanga is. He's gonna whoop your Klingon ass. Especially if he shoots up first. With his magic potion.
What are we doing here, Doc?
Why did you join Starfleet, Ensign?
To explore? Learn?
To seek out new life and new civilizations, perhaps? Not to go at war with them? Yeah. Wars is never a good thing. But how long did the Klingon war even last? Anyway, like a year?
We fight for them. We fight hoping it doesn't change us.
I just realized they also have the Strange New Worlds, or the newer badges. Well, I guess they had those in Discovery Season 2 when Pike and them showed up. So I'll just say the Discovery was the only ship that had the split ones, I guess.
We have to fight. So the people we love can have a chance to live in peace.
If it wasn't for Michael Burnham, he wouldn't be at war, so it's fine. It's just so weird seeing this this side of Starfleet. Because, you know, it's not the bright, optimistic world of Star Trek that we're so used to. But, of course, this is an element of it. It was an element of Deep Space Nine. I mean, you know, conflict is always a part. But seeing it, you know, on this scale, you know, on the front lines, they're in pitched tents, literally like just right next to the battlefield. It's very, very different.
Trask's team is going dark to find the local generals while ground units mount a huge offensive near Colony Athos to provide cover. All they need is meat for the grinder.
Damn, this kid is already back up and heading out already, and he's been recovering for a day. I'd probably read more than that, but they need meat for the grinder, according to Chapel. That's fucked up, man. Yeah, there's a Vulcan there, too.
None of this is about you. You just see me going through something, and our closeness makes you feel responsible.
He doesn't feel responsible, but he wants to help. He feels responsible for helping. And he's, you know, he doesn't know how to handle this. It's the first time he's been in a relationship like this, where where the partner is in distress like this.
Like I've been trying to tell you, I just need some personal time.
I understand. You
Damn.
require personal time away from me.
Are they breaking up already? They've only been together for 2 episodes, or 3 episodes. No, they just, after this mission's over, when Ra is gone, she'll be more willing to talk with you again, Spock. She's just got to process this by herself. Oh. They've got to, that guy is still in the transporter buffer. They've got to freaking wipe him. Fuck, dude. I mean, it's him or, you know, several other lives, so needs of the many. Wow, she did that very easily. Or he did that very easily.
Incoming transport. Incoming transport. Incoming transport. Incoming transport.
Incoming transport. Incoming transport. Not a very nice place to vacation, Jagal. Lots of annoying things going on. Gunfire, explosions, transporters going off. This is a good way to release some tension between you two. And a good means for Mbanga to beat the crap out of you, for him to soothe his conscience.
I have a proposal. If the two of us, direct enemies on the battlefield, can find a way to work together, that would be a powerful message.
Yeah, that's going to go over well. Yeah, what is your plan here, Ra? You want to? How do you want him to be your friend? Or to align with you, at least. To do what? Maybe he's trying to recruit him for a secret Klingon mission, solo front.
Most of the casualties on the hunters were civilians.
Yes. I killed my own men because I was appalled by those atrocities.
What is happening here? Bang is slaughtering a bunch of Klingons. Those Klingons look so classic. I love it. Oh, it's like even when there's like classic Klingon blades too.
I stood up for what is right, and for that my Klingon brethren called me the Butcher of Jagal.
I'm a little confused. So we just saw Mbenga slaughtering Klingons. Is something being implied here that I'm not getting, probably? Oh look, we're seeing a sonic shower for the first time. Or not the first time, but one of the few times we're actually seeing the sonic shower. Oh, the Andorian guy died too. So Ra was just gunning down civilians, but apparently he didn't want that, so as he turned against his Klingon people to stop them from doing that. Is that what I'm understanding? That's why they call it, the Klingons call him the Butcher of Jagal? It's not because he gave the orders to kill all the civilians. Damn. The frickin' poor kid got his throat cut open by a batleth or something. Okay, and this is when Mbenga grabs the knife and starts going ham on the Klingons, I guess. I'm guessing we're going to see Protocol 12 in action again.
What's this?
A course through the Chantico Nebula gets us to Starbase 12 by tomorrow.
Chantico?
We need to get Ra off this ship.
Chantico? Is it like Chintaka? They're pretty close. But yeah, she's right. You got to get, I don't know, you need to speed up getting Ra out of here. Shit's kicking off.
It isn't fair for us to ask them to just let it go. Federation or not, everyone is on their own journey.
That's right. Damn right, number one. You can't speed this up, their recovery. You got to let it happen over time, naturally. Because clearly it's taken a long time. And it was only a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, that this happened. Probably less than 5 years ago.
You can use this to find me. Don't bring me out until you have to.
I'm just going to go in, kill as many Klingons as I can before I have to leave. Is this really a good use of your time, Joseph? Come on, just get out of here. I guess he is saving civilian lives doing this, so perhaps it is for a good cause.
Protocol 12 helps you fight. If the Klingons break the wire, use it to get out.
But what is it though? We still haven't figured out what it is. The Protocol 12 serum. It's good stuff, whatever it is.
I've just been informed that my time on the ship is being cut short.
Please go away.
I thought that as victims of the horrors of Jagal.
Please go away. Mbenga's over. He's over it. No more of this shit. He's fed up.
You gave the order.
Oh. Okay, so he's calling him on his bullshit. So it was him that gave the order to kill the civilians. So he was bullshitting. So he's making all these claims that he's actually, he tried to stop the murder of the civilians, but he's actually the reason for it. Okay, but Mbenga knows the truth.
I am the Butcher of Jagal.
Oh. He's the Butcher of Jagal. Okay, that's why, because he was slaughtering all those Klingons at the end. But Ra doesn't remember him, I guess. You'd think he would. Maybe he never saw him. But he escaped. Everybody else died.
Using the blood on my hands to make yourself a saint?
I only wanted Starfleet to trust me.
Damn, that's true. That's fucked. Yeah, so Starfleet has no justification for trusting him. I mean, even him killing his people isn't really anyway, but just his claims that he's a peaceful man now and he's changed his life, turned around, but he hasn't. Well, he has, but not for the reason he's claiming he has.
Why did you have to come?
Oh shit, I bet he's about to frickin' deck this guy and stab him. Don't do it. Don't do it, Joseph. You don't want more blood on your hands, my guy. Oh. They're fighting behind frosting glass. We can't see what's happening. Oh. And there he goes. Done. And Christine was even watching.
Saw the whole thing. Ra wanted to talk, but Joseph was done. He told Ra he didn't want to be involved.
Wow. She's just straight up telling him that done the truth. He's not even covering up. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happened. And Benga said, you know, fuck off, leave me alone.
I'm just shocked that Ra would attack him like that.
No one ever really knows.
But Ra didn't attack him. She just told you he didn't attack him. He just, I mean, verbally, I guess he was sort of inciting an incident, but he didn't physically attack Joseph. Well, he was kind of, I guess he grabbed his shoulder. I don't know. He shouldn't have fucking, slaughtered him, but whatever. Whatever.
We've known each other, how long?
Too long to count.
Yeah, I'd like to think if he did instigate the fight with Ra...
Too long to write it in. Too long for us writers to bother to figure out.
The Federation believes everyone deserves a second chance.
What about justice? What about the victims?
I mean, I see both sides of your arguments. He deserves to pay for his sins, but he also gets to deserve a second chance, and he seems to have been helping the Federation by representing them. But yes, he was still a evil person that I wouldn't trust.
You have the privilege of believing in what's best in people. I happen to know there's some things...
Yeah, because he hasn't seen the worst of people.
...that don't deserve forgiveness.
There's some things you just can't change. Some things don't deserve forgiveness, that's right. Unfortunate, but right. You've got that optimistic Boy Scout point of view, Chris, because you weren't in that war. That's why they had you sit out. You're the best in Starfleet. Represent the best of humanity.
Biobed 2 is working again. But I know it's only a matter of time before it shuts down again. Something's breaking our way.
So obviously the Biobed is a metaphor for Mbenga here. It's working again now that Ra''s gone, and but it's only temporarily fixed. Mbenga's not fully healed. But surely killing Ra does deep down make him feel a little happy. In a twisted sort of way. Well, I was right on the money about the tone of this episode. Easily the darkest, most intense episode of Strange New Worlds thus far. Seeing the really dark horrors of war, the front lines of the Klingon War was, it's disturbing. I mean, and especially in contrast to the pristine, clean, and optimistic version of the future that we see most of the time in Star Trek. But it is nice to have a counteraction of this realistic grittiness. But, I mean, this episode was actually a very strong character episode, and it was nice to see more of Mbenga's backstory fleshed out, because and Ortegas, and well, we didn't even see Ortegas in the flashbacks, but we saw Chapel and Mbenga in the flashbacks, to have their story fleshed out a little bit, because we got reference to that in episode 1 of this season, and now to see it expanded upon. I don't know if we knew, I don't think we heard about this in season 1, that they were in the Klingon War. Maybe we did. But yeah, those two characters really hadn't been explored that much until this point, but it's nice to see them get a lot of character development here. That we learned that Mbenga was the Butcher of Jagal. He was, he was on a killing spree, killing all these Klingons on this moon. Earned himself a sort of reputable title in the Klingons, a feared title, the Butcher of Jagal. And then this general took that title, claimed the title for himself, which he then used to spin it as a credibility thing so he could become an ambassador for the Federation. But really, that general gave the orders to kill civilians, and he's a bad guy. He claimed that he was so disgusted by those orders that he turned on his men, but that wasn't actually true. It was Mbenga who was killing all of his men. So Mbenga's PTSD is definitely, and so is and Chapel's, their PTSD is definitely understandable with what they saw on Jagal, with the wounds they were dealing. I mean, that was some really intense imagery with the blood squirting on Chapel's face, and she was pumping the guy's heart with her bare hand. I mean, that's intense shit, man. You see that on NCIS or something like that. But it does add to the character that we see the horrors that they went through. But it's funny because you think of Christine as such a sort of happy, lighthearted character, but that's almost like a coping mechanism maybe for the horror she's seen. I mean, Mbenga is a far more somber character. That makes sense that he has this sort of, not makes sense, but it's understandable that he has this backstory where he doesn't want to be very forthright and wants to be more subdued because he has all these things he's hiding from his past intentionally because they disturb him. The Protocol 12. The green stuff we saw in episode 1 of this season, we still know what it is, unless I just missed that, which is possible. But he took some. He took some before he became the Butcher of Jagal. But it just makes you go. It's just like some steroids, I guess, essentially. They have an immediate effect, temporary effect that just make you really strong and fast. Greater stamina. I don't know. But I really liked the character of Ra, the ambassador. I thought he was very different from all the Klingons we've not ever seen, but we've seen in Strange Worlds. He acted almost human, which was obviously intentional. He was with a lot of humans. He was representing the Federation. He was trying to be human. He was turning his back on his culture, that was a very interesting line where he talks about how they were sort of idiocy. They followed idiocy or something, a war-ridden culture governed by idiocy or something like that. I've never imagined hearing Klingon say that. But I thought he was a very good character. And you could almost feel why they were trying to make you feel sympathetic for him. But then it's revealed at the end that he was just an asshole and you shouldn't feel any sympathy for him. And he was just pulling, like Mbenga said, you're using the blood on my hands to form your own, to benefit your reputation, which was fucked up. But I'm not necessarily sure if I think that Mbenga should have killed him. That might have been a step too far. But again, there's a theme mentioned several times in this episode. You cannot understand war unless you were there. And I've never fought in a war. I've never experienced stuff like that. So I can't imagine justification for something like that. But for someone who has, they might. But they have a totally different perspective on it than I do. So I can't speak for that, But it was interesting that how they were sort of nonchalant about the whole thing. I think Pike mentioned something about court martials and tribunals, but I don't think nothing's gonna really come of that. I don't think, even though Chapel witnessed it, I think they're gonna play it off like, I guess Mbenga mentioned that he didn't start the fight. He did. Whatever. The point being, it's a bit of a sort of temporary closure almost for Mbenga, that he's at peace with his past a little bit more now than he was, but he's still not totally over it, because you're never going to get over it. It's not something you just one day wake up and I'm past it. It's something that haunts you for potentially your whole life. And number one mentioned that they all going to have different speeds of recovery, and it has to happen naturally. We can't force it to happen. I think the fact that Starfleet was a direct order that they all had to interact with Ra was very not Starfleet, in my opinion, and that should not have been the case. They should have let the Klingon War veterans be off duty for the time they were escorting Ra. I mean, there was no need for them to be. That just seemed very inconsiderate. But I know, I guess they had their best intentions. I guess they want to keep good relationship with the Klingon ambassador. They want to help these people recover, but forcing it to happen is not a good thing. And as we clearly saw, it was right for Pike to excuse them from the dinner because things almost kicked off, and Bang was ready to rip the chair arm off. But yeah, I think I mean, obviously, in Bang and Chapel were the center of this story, which was, and that had never really happened before, and I'm glad to have seen it. But yeah, it just was so drastically different from the previous episode, like I expected. But I wasn't expecting to be that harsh of a difference. Oh, and Clint Howard. Clint Howard was in it. That was great. And he was like, he was like his wacky Clint Howard self too. He's such a funny, cool guy, and I love that he's still in Star Trek. He's still in Star Trek. You know, his whole life's been Star Trek, really, since he was a kid. But yeah, this episode's definitely got me thinking. A little, almost disturbed. Not disturbed, but it opens broadens my mind about you know, war and something that is very rarely touched upon in Star Trek. I mean, it was touched upon in Deep Space Nine, which was a much longer thing in Deep Space Nine. But here, to have, especially in Strange New Worlds, where we're usually pretty lighthearted, even in the darker episodes, there's some lightheartedness. Here, there was almost no lightheartedness. There was some jokes here and there, but it was very serious. So I definitely need that palate cleanser of next week's musical episode, which I'm very much looking forward to. But this was a solid episode. I think it was. Even though maybe was not as fun, I think writing-wise, character-wise, it's probably better than quite a few of the other episodes this season. I think it was better than probably episode 1, probably episode 4. Yeah, I mean, they've all been good, but this one stands out for what it did, I think, in a good way. And maybe some bad ways too, and then the visuals and the imagery that made me uncomfortable, but that's just me personally. But let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you for Subspace Rhapsody next time.